Change maker or change hater? If nothing changes, nothing changes. Your ability to perform at a higher level and achieve more doesn't change. The impact you have on an organization and other people doesn't change. Your influence doesn't change. Your ability to experience new things and develop new passions doesn't change. So are you a change maker or are you a change hater? Now, for those of you who are over the age of 40, you will recognize this style of brim. This is how we did it back in the day. A hat was to block the sun. So you block the sides and you block the top. Thank goodness change is good, right? Things have changed. I'm going to give you 8 seconds to think of a significant change you've made in your personal or work life. Go. Well, could you think of anything? Have you changed your routine, your diet, your workout schedule, your car, your job, your perception? Maybe, maybe not. If not, you may want to reframe the way you look at change. Deep down, we are all change makers. At our core, we want to look better. We want to feel better. We want to do better. We want to be better. But sometimes we don't want to put in the work that's required to get the change result. And so I reframed the way I look at change. Change, by definition, is action. And passion comes from action, not the other way around. I didn't sit around on a Sunday and say, you know what? I'm going to get passionate about running 100 miles. I took action, I changed something, and I went out and I ran 100 miles. And I developed a passion for it, or disease, whatever you want to call it. Therefore, if you want a little bit more passion in your life, then take action. Make a change. Change is good. The number one challenge that leaders face today is mindset evolution, mindset innovation. Can you flex? Can you adapt your mindset to your current role or your current situation? Today, we're going to talk about 3 things that you can do to be a better change maker. Embody the right change mindset, which is resilient. Embrace the concept of change and engage your people if you're leading them through change. And if you're not, engage yourself. All right, the first thing is embody the right change mindset, which is one of resilience. The ability to recover from or adjust easily to change. So what do resilient people do? What does the resilient mindset look like? Well, for one, effective leaders, they run towards change. They see challenges and they see problems as opportunities. They're not victims. They don't have the victim mentality. They find a way to win. They find a way to get it done. They own it. They see change as action and they take action. They're first to move. The second thing we can do is embrace the concept itself of change, right? Why? Why should we do that? Well, first of all, we expect everyone around us to embrace the concept of change. Think about our customers, right? They've been doing surgery the same way for 20, in some cases 30 years. And we fully expect them to change to robotics because it's a better way. So we expect it of our customers. We should have it ourselves. Our people expect it of us. Another reason that we should embrace the concept of change is because it's necessary. We are a company that innovates. If we don't innovate and change, we die. To have success, you have to grow. To grow, you got to take action. To take action, you got to change. So change equals success. It is a necessity at Intuitive that we embrace the concept of change. Okay, the third thing is engage. Engage your people. Now, if you haven't done this already, I would highly recommend you start doing it yesterday. And that is develop the right change culture on your team. You're the leader, your team culture, your responsibility. Now, on my team, we have what we call super winners, right? So you know there's always those scenarios. Maybe it's a big change, maybe it's an organizational change, maybe it's a title change, but the bullets are flying, the mud's getting slumped. And there's always those people that come out smelling like roses. I call those people super winners. So if there's a big change on our team or something that we've got to deal with and there's a lot of resistance or fear of the unknown, then we're going to focus our time and our energy on how do we come out as super winners. It's going to happen to somebody, might as well be us. So if you haven't already, set the right change culture on your team. Now, if I were to Google search change management models, I'd get nearly 2 billion hits. Regardless of what change management model you're using, they all try to overcome one thing, and that is that people engagement. We have to have the right business strategy, the right people engagement so that we can get great results. Now, I recommend you engage them or roll out that message in a talk, not tell method, right? It should be a conversation. Both parties, all parties should be talking, not just you telling. I prefer to give the what, the why, the when, the how, and then shut up and listen and gain knowledge. Listen without judgment. Know what they're going to feel, why they're going to feel it, and start to put together tips in your head on how you're going to help them navigate that experience. Now, once you've got that information, I would highly recommend doing some one-on-ones in those days and weeks after the change comes down, just to give those folks an individual personalized touch, exactly what they need at the right time. And when it's all said and done and the change has happened and everything is successful, call them and thank them. Let them know how, give them some praise on how they handled the scenario and how they got themselves and changed their mindset and got through change, right? Propel it forward so the next time when a change comes down, it's a little bit easier to help your people navigate the change curve. All right, there are several approaches that impact engagement. You know your people. You know how they want to be influenced. You may use a rational, factual, data-driven approach to change, or you may use a touchy-feely, softer, emotional approach to change. You know your people. You know how they want to be influenced and led through change. But regardless, it's up to you to engage your people, take the right approach, and move them from resistance, fear, shock, to acceptance and engagement. So those are the three things, just to recap. Number one, embody the change mindset, resilience. Number two, embrace the concept of change. And number three, engage your people, right? And lastly, never forget the 2 rules of engagement. Rule number 1, the individual matters most. And rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Because at the end of the day, organizations do not change. People change. Organizational change happens at the individual level. The individual matters most. And when you have that day and it's 4:30 on a Friday and you get a call and you look at it, it's from that one person on your team that you know is going to offer resistance. They're going to have some issues. They're going to try to bargain with you. If I do this, do we have to do that? That is the time when you need to engage the most. That is where you make your money as a leader. All right, folks, that's the skinny on leading through change. I've got 4 best practices. Number 1, if you haven't already done it, develop the right change culture on your team. Super winners. Number 2, embody the change mindset. Now, what I do is called fear setting. I will leave a link in the description box below to a podcast. I think it's a TED Talk by Tim Ferriss. He is the one that introduced me to fear setting. And fear setting is simply a way to get your mindset right. You take a piece of paper, you have 3 columns. On the far left column, you write down all the worst case scenarios that could happen when you make this change. If it's 5, if it's 10, if it's 20, write them all down. Once you write them down and you look at them and you think about them, they're just not as bad, right? Things are worse in our head than they are in reality. Now, in that second column, the middle column, be conservative, but think about, okay, what are the best things that could happen once we make this change? And generally, you're going to find that there's a lot of good outcomes that are going to come from this change. And that's where you begin to focus. That's where you start to change your mindset. And in that third column, you write down the price of doing nothing, of inactivity. And that is just not an option. So when I go through fear setting, it takes me about 24 hours, but it helps me get my mind right. I get focused, and I am able to fully embody the mindset of resilience. Number 3, just embrace the concept of change, whatever it is. Many times people will judge the way you act and react in a certain situation, the way you manage through change, more so than the outcome. And lastly, best practice number 4, engage your team. Early, often, thoroughly, and praise them after the change. And when your engagement tank is full, double down and communicate more. If you do that, then you will be a little bit better at leading through change.